were unable to get the victory in front of the home crowd, falling to the Kansas City Royals. The Brewers will hit the diamond again tomorrow against the Royals with first pitch set for 6:40 p.m. and it can be heard on our sister station, 620 WTMJ. The Milwaukee Bucks were back in action yesterday as they took on the Atlanta Hawks at Fiserv Forum. Giannis had an impressive 31 points, but that was not enough as the Bucks fell to the Hawks 145-124. The Bucks look to end their 3-game losing streak tomorrow night as they host the Phoenix Suns in Milwaukee. Tip-off is set for 6:30 p.m. and can be heard on our sister station, 620 WTMJ. This True Sports Update was brought to you by Associated Bank, proudly supporting your hometown teams. Member FDIC.
Bringing you his authentic perspectives on important topics.
They live in suburbs together. They live in the city together. They hang out together, all in the same family. We're the only idiots that fight because we want our voice to only be on one side. Like, does that even make any sense? And when the side loses, you lose everything. They, on the other hand, have a voice no matter what because somebody that looks like them is always in control.
Frank, candid, and straight to the point.
Well, it's just a skewed system.
Of course it is.
It's a lot of judgment.
But answer my question, though. Should we let people go? Should we let people go? Like, let's just forget about bail altogether. And if your neighbor commits a homicide and kills people up, if you kill people and they next to you and you just let them come back and live right next to you, they can live upstairs from you. Let them come in your house.
Frank, candid, and straight to the point. This is the best radio show in the state of Wisconsin. Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth and The Truth app.
Now, he's the mayor of the city of Milwaukee. He's a young man. Give him a chance. I only complain about things that I care about. What I want you to do is pretend like I'm in St. Louis. And all I'm asking the mayor and the Common Council president and the Common Council, show me.
Now, live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in the heart of downtown Milwaukee, here is Dr. Ken Harris.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. 833-212-1017 is the number. I don't even know what the Brewers' score was. I don't really know because I saw that game on Saturday, and it was not, I don't need to know. I don't want to know. You know why I don't want to know? It was an L, right? Okay, we're done. You see that game on Saturday, dude? Now, I'm a baseball. I'm showing my weakness. I love baseball. There's a whooping, there's a spanking, and then you just got punked. Brewers got punked on Saturday. They got punked. And the baseball bat that they used punked them. Hey, look, it's legal. And then just blow them out. Punked. Well, we should be respectable. We got 9 runs. We're okay. Now you're not. You got punked. That was crazy. Can you say crazy anymore? You can't say crazy? Okay. That's crazy that you can't say crazy. I'm good. I don't know. That reminds me. Tell that guy don't go anywhere. Well, no, it won't matter because I got a long thing. So he's not gonna sit here for a half hour and be like, I'm waiting on you to. Okay. Because at 6 o'clock, Truth Unfiltered. Okay. All right. I'm just checking. Matter of fact, make sure you hang out today because Truth Unfiltered with myself and Denise Thomas. It's some pretty unfiltered stuff on there. Pretty darn unfiltered. So, yeah, the Brewers lost. Again, what's that, like 3 in a row? 4 in a row? I was trying to be nice. I was trying to say, is it 3 or 4? Oh, no, it's 4. 4-0. They only got 160. What is it, 162 games or 165? 162. That's what I thought. 172? 62. That's what I thought. So they only got 158 more. Okay. Yeah. It's going to be a long one. 833-212-1017 is the number. So I was kicking around in politics today, looking at some things. I got a slew of stories, and I don't have enough time, so, bear with me. The U.S. Supreme Court today signaled, now this is a story from Wisconsin, from Superior, Wisconsin. The Supreme Court signaled today it's poised to side with Catholic Charities in the dispute. Now get this. Over whether religiously affiliated groups are entitled to an exemption from certain state taxes, a decision that could expand the types of groups that would receive a break under the First Amendment. So after 2 hours of oral arguments, almost 2 hours, it was clear, this is from CNN Politics, it was clear that even some of the court's liberal justices had concern with the decision from Wisconsin's High Court that drew a line between groups that teach religious doctrine and those like Catholic Charities that do not proselyte to beneficiaries or preach the gospel. There are lots of hard questions in this area, said Justice Alina Kagan, member of the court's liberal wing, but I thought it was pretty fundamental that we don't treat some religions better than other religions, and we certainly don't do it based on the contents of the religious doctrine that those religions preach. Critics say Catholic Charities' position could jeopardize unemployment benefits for hundreds of thousands of people who work at religiously affiliated organizations. In the first religion-centered appeal, the 6-3 conservative court has heard in nearly 2 years, the Catholic Charities Bureau and 4 affiliate organizations say Wisconsin violated their First Amendment religious protections by denying exemptions from state unemployment taxes. Churches already received that exemption, and so the question for the justices was, in essence, whether religiously affiliated entities that don't teach religion should also qualify. But that sort of analysis, Catholic Charities warn, requires the state to address philosophical questions about the meaning of religion and the kind of inquiry federal courts usually avoid. That argument appeared to resonate with many on the court. It isn't a fundamental promise, said Neil Gorsuch. It isn't a fundamental premise of our First Amendment that the statute shouldn't be picking and choosing between religions. Doesn't it entangle the state tremendously when it has to go into a soup kitchen, send an inspector to see how much prayer is going on? The conservative justices in recent years have blurred the line that once was separated church and state. They've done so on the theory that some government efforts intended to comply with the First Amendment Establishment Clause has been overbroad and discriminated against religion. The court has expanded the circumstances under which taxpayer money may fund religious schools, for instance. It allowed a public high school football coach to pray on the 50-yard line and ruled that Boston could not block a Christian group from raising a flag at City Hall. A decision is expected by the end of June. It's now, March 31st. It could have broad implications, which is why I'm even talking about it. If it sweeps deeply enough to cover other religiously affiliated organizations such as hospitals, it may also limit the government's ability to look into the pulpit to assess whether groups are in fact religious or only claiming to be in order to avoid taxes. Taking religious organizations at their word on the righteousness of their activities makes it hard for the government to challenge if those activities are actually religious. So then what do you do? That's my question. Catholic Charities Bureau calls itself a social ministry arm of the Diocese of Superior. In Wisconsin, that's Superior, Wisconsin. In Wisconsin, and it says that it carries out a wide variety of ministries for the elderly, the disabled, the poor, and all that. The group said its employees could continue to have unemployment coverage, but that it would be provided by a church-affiliated entity rather than the state. And so this is going to go on and on. 47 states and the federal government include exemptions for unemployment tax for religious organizations. So if you're doing God's work, is that considered ministry? Well, they're trying to say it's actually, in some instances, not. That your church can get the exemption, but your ministry, if it's separate and incorporated and it's an arm of your church, it may not. It may not. Catholic Charities has participated in its unemployment insurance program without complaint since 1971. So can a religious organization take advantage of the state, and then when it doesn't feel like it, withdraw from the state? Or should it stay with the state? Like, this is what you signed up for. This is what you need to do. Because I think what's happening is that we're missing the religious part. Now, granted, there's some people that just don't like religion, don't support religion, don't do anything. But this is going to have a significant effect because this allows the government to come in and tell you this is what a ministry is. So what you're going to make it a ministry, you're going to have some type of proselyte or preaching, and there has to be some proselytizing, right? During the ministry, right? So if I'm so wait a minute. So what if I pick up trash? I got to like walk and preach as I pick up trash or something? What if you're Catholic Charities and you're feeding the homeless? I got to preach to them while I feed them soup? Now, I know some local ministries, when they feed the homeless, you have to sit through, I think they call it a homily. You have to sit through a sermon. It's short before you can eat. You might have to have a 15-minute homily, and we talk about Jesus, and then you get to go eat. That would be considered religion. They're saying just because you feed people and there's no proselytizing, there's no preaching, is it really religious? And should it have the state exemption? And that's going to be important because in the end, either the state's going to make more money or the religion. The problem is if they get Catholic Charities, they're going to start looking at every religious-based, right? Like hospitals. That's just more money in a hospital's pocket if they don't have to pay the unemployment tax. I think it opens up a can of worms, and it opens up something that we should all deal with and that we should actually make a point to handle. All right. I got like 10 points for my Dr. Ken's Truth today. Number 2. I heard a statement, and if you know who T.S. Eliot is, you know, for the you educated folks, some of you folk ain't educated, so, you know, I mean, some of y'all didn't graduate the 8th grade, so, you know, it's kind of tough. Why you look at me like that? I wasn't talking about you feeling kind of defenseless, feeling defensive or something. Anyway, so T.S. Eliot, you know, one of my favorite philosophers, good writer, not always in agreement with him, and in this instance, I'm not in agreement. T.S. Eliot said, "What we have inherited from the fortunate, we have taken from the defeated." Now, that is the black and white thinking of everyone wins and everyone loses. Or if somebody wins, let me rephrase that, somebody has to lose. And that's just not necessarily true. I can do a lot of things where I win, but there's no loser. But there seems to be this narrative going throughout the black community that if you're successful, then there's somebody who had to become unsuccessful or was left unsuccessful. And it's like we'll hear things and they'll drive us because it resonates with us to being the truth when in fact it's not. That is not the truth. If you have any thoughts, 833-212-1017 is the number. That's just not the truth. I think we, as a people, don't understand that sometimes people can win. Like sometimes people can actually, win and not take advantage of you and not walk over you. Or as they say, mess you over. If you get rich or become wealthy, is there somebody that's poor because you became rich or wealthy? Or what? These are just things that have been popping in my head over the weekend that have been just driving me up a wall. Had a conversation with somebody today about the differences between what you say and what you do and what you think, right? Let's cut out the what you say part. What are we teaching our children in education today? What is it? What are we teaching our children? Well, some would say we're teaching them intellect, or for lack of a better term, intelligence. Personally, I think we do a poor job of teaching kids imagination. I think school is a place where you go to dream, where you can think about all the things and explore all the things without doing them. And when you don't do them, there's no moral outrage. There's no action you take that then causes a consequence. But I think what happens is we teach kids so much intellect that they know enough to not fail. So then they don't do. John Dewey called it moral imagination. Do you have enough imagination to think about what you want to do? Do it in the right way. Think it through in your mind and then act. Because right now what we're seeing in the community is that people are acting and they're not thinking it through. And when you act and you don't think it through, it's irrevocable. Actions are irrevocable. Once you do it, you cannot take it back. But imagination, there's no horizon. There's no limit on it. So you can think through all the things you want to do, all the things you want to say before you take an action. 833-212-1017 is the number. Lana Banana, you are on the award-winning 1017 The Truth.
Hello, how are you? I'm hanging in there.
All right. That's good to hear. What's going on?
How are you?
I'm good. It's been a long weekend, but I'm hanging in there.
Yes. I don't think that you have to, someone have to fail, or you have to misuse someone or mistreat someone in order to succeed. It doesn't happen all the time, although some people do that, but you don't have to.
But people always say that we have this thing in America now where we hate billionaires, people that worked hard, started money, took risks, and we hate them because they're successful, and that's just weird to me.
I don't hate them. I just look and see, how they got to be where they're at to get, the points that'll serve me some good in my process of me, on my journey. But I don't hate them, but what I do hate, billionaires or even people who aren't, I just hate when they just, brag and, throw it in your face and make it seem like they're better than you just because, all billionaires and successful people aren't like that, but it's just
right.
Those certain few, But those who just use people and be successful and take all the credit instead of giving credit where credit is due. To me, those are like people who have like an individualistic culture or a mindset.
Right. True.
And those who want to succeed and want to bring others with them once they succeed, so that they'll be able to tell and teach others, what is necessary in order to go on their journey.
Well, it's kind of difficult for me to tell and teach while I'm bringing you with me. I think I can do one or I can do the other, but I can't do both.
But I'll bring them with me once I get to where I need to be at, because if I'm going to bring somebody else with me, that's a distraction.
Correct.
I got to stay focused on me.
Right.
And then once I become successful, then I can bring them along with me to where I'm at. I can take them up underneath my wing and just give them like a generalization of what I've been through, the process. You have to think things through. You have to even brainstorm and write things down. As soon as they come in your mind, you have to jot it down. I don't care what time it is. It could be 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. And you can't rush things and just do things, because there are negative consequences. And you're in a worse situation than you were before, because you're going backwards. So when you think things through, you do fail sometimes, but you will learn from that failure. And failure does not mean that you're nobody, that you cannot succeed, period. You have to learn sometimes from failing to see what you need to do in order to do what you want to do.
Right.
To be where So, me, I come from a collectivist, individualistic, collectivistic mindset.
That's unfortunate.
Why?
Because I just said the opposite.
Why?
Because I'm just saying the opposite of what you said.
Oh yeah, you're contrarian.
Right,
That's right.
And so collectivists, I'm carrying everybody with me as I'm growing. Isn't that going to slow you down?
I have to grow. I have to be where I need to be at first.
Okay, but that's not a collectivist. That's not collectivist.
Collectivist is I'm not stepping on anybody's toes while I'm on my journey.
You can be an individual. You can be an individual and not step on anybody's toes.
True that, but then a collectivist.
Right.
I want to help those two who want to be helped. And give them ideas and tell them, you need to brainstorm. You can't just, just do things on a whim. You have to think things out, because this is your life. This is serious. You can't just do things just to be doing it like on an impulse.
But wait a minute. I don't. Let me ask you some questions, because a collective is done by a group of people as a group together. If you're getting yours first, and then you're showing the group how to get theirs, that's not a collective.
Yes, it is, because I'm bringing the group with me.
Yeah, but you already got it first. The whole point of a collective is that everybody acts together cooperatively.
Which also means that everybody will succeed together.
Not true, but everybody fails. No, see, you can't say that. A collective is everybody wins or everybody loses. There's no, Everybody,
there's no in between.
Communism. Having everyone that commonality, or socialism, that commonality of everybody gets paid the same, no matter how much you work, no matter how little you work, no matter where you work, everybody gets the same rent. You get to live the same way, eat the same way. You get access to everything. But that's a collective done by people acting as a group. And I know I'm blending those terms, and they're a little different, but
I'm following you. I'm holding on. But being a collectivist also means that you work in a group once you get there, because how are you going to work in a group together? You don't even know what to do and where to go. That's a waste of time, energy, and money. And everybody will not be making the same, because everybody's going to have their own occupation, their own livelihood, which
then
means
it's not a collective. Collectives work on common issues, common interests. They work together to achieve a common objective. And if everybody's in a different place and everybody has a different level of education and everybody has a different income, it's not a collective.
But we have common views, though. We all want to succeed.
Views ain't going to do it.
And,
Look at the elections. Views ain't going to do it. We trashing people and canceling people because they don't think the way you think. They're not black the way you think they should be black. They don't dress the way. Collective? I don't know.
Me? Well, my definition of collectivism is when you do things together.
Sure.
In order to achieve a common goal.
Correct.
And the common goal is to succeed, to be comfortable, you know.
Okay.
And to be able to, you will fail, but you won't fail as much if you just do things on an impulse. You have to think it through, because if you fail and you thought it through, you brainstormed, you jotted things down, then at least you did do what you supposed to have been doing in order to fail. But you will learn from brainstorming. You will get those notes, and then you'll combine that with other notes so that you can get, some good points from when you fail. There are some good things you can bring that along with you.
So let me ask you a question.
Your journey. It don't stop right there.
Do you think the black community should be a collective?
Yeah, but right now we can't do that because
that's not what I asked. No. Do you think the black community should work to become a collective?
Yes.
That's the practice or the principle of giving a group priority over every single individual in it.
But can't every single individual be their own person and they just come together?
Nope, it's a collective.
So
the theory and practice.
So it's like.
Okay, go ahead.
So when you collective is like when you collect things.
No.
You're collecting.
Collectivism is all working together collectively, where the group's needs, the group's goals are prioritized over what you need. So if you want to go to school somewhere, if you want to go, if you want to go to school somewhere, and we decided we need a dentist, and you want to be a medical doctor and a surgeon, not going to happen. The group needs a dentist. You got to be a dentist.
So I have to be a dentist. No. Okay. Thank you for. See, I was looking at it the wrong way. No, because everybody's their own individual. You can't just be like a robot or
no. How many times have you heard? How many times have you heard that black people need to be acting as a group and be a collective?
A lot.
Is it working?
No, because we're not doing it.
Okay. And if you worked on it, right, you would be like a lot of these countries in Central America, Germany, Russia, that don't work because it's never worked. Cuba, it's never worked. Is capitalism great? I would give it like a B+, solid B+, but it's significantly better than a collective because look at Cuba.
So being individualistic is not anything negative, and collectivism.
I would say it's not negative only because of this, and I'm trying to hurry because I gotta take a break pretty soon. I would say it's not bad by virtue of the fact that I always have a vehicle to which to help my fellow man. Nonprofits, you can give money, you can give your time, you can give your talent. If you're a shoemaker, you can give shoes away. If you're a dressmaker, you give dress. Like there's so many ways that you can give to those that are less fortunate. But I don't think you should give it up because you worked hard to get yours and because somebody else didn't or doesn't want to, but they're part of the group, they get to share in your spoils.
No, they're going to have to go on their own because it's only for those who wants to, do something, be something, because that one person, they're going to bring you down because you always steady have to take away from yourself to give to them so that they can be where you at or at least, comfortable. So, no, they're going to be a hindrance. No, they can't. No. Not everybody. You can't. Everybody can't be successful if they want to, but they don't want to do the work. And if they don't want to do the work, if we talk and we, talk together and try to come up with an idea, whatever you want me to do all the work and you do nothing, we can't work together. We can't even be together. We can't socialize together because that's negativity in my life. I don't need that. I'm moving forward.
Well, I mean, you yourself said failure strengthens you, gives you resilience, and helps you, figure out those things you do wrong and grow. So I wouldn't necessarily call it negative.
You mean the individualist?
Right. I wouldn't call it negative. I mean, sometimes stuff happens and you got to regroup and rebuild and, I mean, it's bad that it happened, but you can grow from it too.
And it's only negative if you hurt others along the way.
There you go.
All right now. Thank you, sir, Dr. Ken Harris.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Talk to you later. Peace.
Peace. 833-212-1017 is the number. And so what happens, a lot of people don't recognize what that means. A lot of people don't understand and recognize that when you operate as a collective, you lose your individuality, what you think, what you say, where you go. And it's scary. But I think the question we have to ask ourselves is like what James Baldwin said. Are you willing to pay the price for the ticket? You willing to go through to get what you want? Are you willing to pay the price? Most people are not. No, that's not true. Some people are not. But that ticket is intelligence and imagination, that moral imagination that you have to have in order to do things right because you're doing it right. And we have to remember that. Many times people are not willing to pay the price of what it takes in order to succeed. I want to be a lawyer, but you're not willing to go to school. You're not willing to get good grades, pass the LSAT high enough to get into a formidable law school. All that. We're not willing to do that. And we spend an inordinate amount of time saying, I want, I can, I will, I believe. But I think some of the most powerful words you can ever use in America is when you step beyond what everybody says, when you step beyond what everybody else did. When you used to say I would, if you used to say I can, if you used to say I will, if you used to say, I believe I can, it's those powerful words you use that few people can, and it's, I did.
And that is Dr. Ken's Truth on the new 1017 The Truth.
Calling all Black-owned business owners and entrepreneurs. Are you looking to share your story and grow your reach? We have teamed up with Associated Bank for our Black-owned business give back. Each quarter, 4 lucky business owners will win an opportunity to spotlight their brand and journey on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. To sign up for your business spotlight interviews, visit blackbusinessgiveback.com. Let's rebuild our community's backbone through exposure on the truth. For official rules, head to blackbusinessgiveback.com. Associated Bank, member FDIC.
With Donald Trump dismantling the federal Department of Education, we need to make sure we have someone we trust running Wisconsin public schools. That's Democrat Jill Underly. As state superintendent, Democrat Jill Underly has fought to reduce class sizes, expand career and technical education, and she worked to pass a new literacy law that will help improve young kids' reading abilities. Her opponent is Republican lobbyist Brittany Kinzer. Kinzer is backed by the same MAGA millionaires that put Donald Trump in the White House. And when Republican lobbyist Brittany Kinzer was asked about Donald Trump dismantling the Department of Education, Kinzer said, quote, "It's fine." Well, it's not fine, Brittany. We need someone to lead Wisconsin public schools who will be a champion for our kids and community, not a puppet for Donald Trump and the Republicans. On Election Day, April 1st, vote for Democrat Jill Underly for state superintendent. Paid for by the Democratic Party of Wisconsin, authorized by Underly for WI.
The Alpha Phi Alpha, Delta Chi Lambda, 7 Jewels Foundation Incorporated has supported over 125 young men through the Young Gentlemen's Scholarship Botillion.
We're asking for your support to help continue this important work and empower the next generation of leaders. Through this program, young men receive mentorship, personal development, and scholarships to achieve their dreams.
We need your help to raise over $20,000 in scholarships, including a $5,000 grand prize.
Call 414-364-2835 to make a difference today. Support the Botillion, invest in the future of our young men.
My overall experience with Gruber Law Offices has been phenomenal.
The treatment was excellent.
They will be supportive of you. They will listen to you.
It was a great experience knowing that I had people to help me.
I know I could count on them to do what I needed to get done.
Experience with Gruber was great.
They gave me my life back.
It was amazing.
He gets results.
We know how to win. If you've been injured, call Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Gruber Law Offices had my best interests at heart.
Hi, I'm Dr. Cass Bowers, Executive Director of All in Wisconsin. Did you know that there's an election coming up on April 1st? I encourage you to get out and vote. For democracy to work for all of us, it must include all of us. Vote to protect our rights and freedoms. I also urge you to vote no on the voter ID amendment on the ballot. Safe elections mean that no one is left out of the process, and we don't need more barriers to voting. Make your voices heard. Visit allinwi.org for more information.
Milwaukee's Black Talk lives here. You are listening to 1017 FM, 1510 AM WGKB Waukesha, and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station. Bringing you his authentic perspectives on important topics.
They live in suburbs together. They live in the city together. They hang out together, all in the same family. We're the only idiots that fight because we want our voice to only be on one side. Like, does that even make any sense? And when the side loses, you lose everything. They, on the other hand, have a voice no matter what because somebody that looks like them is always in control.
Frank, candid, and straight to the point.
Well, it's just a skewed system.
Of course it is.
It's a lot of adjustment.
But answer my question, though. Should we let people go? Should we let people go? Like, let's just forget about bail altogether. And if your neighbor commits a homicide and kills people up, if you kill people and they next to you and you just let them come back and live right next to you, they can live upstairs from you. Let them come in your house.
Frank, candid, and straight to the point. This is the best radio show in the state of Wisconsin. Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth and The Truth app.
Now, he's the mayor of the city of Milwaukee. He's a young man. Give him a chance. I only complain about things that I care about. What I want you to do is pretend like I'm in St. Louis. And all I'm asking the mayor and the Common Council president and the Common Council, show me.
Now, live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in the heart of downtown Milwaukee, here is Dr. Ken Harris.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. 833-212-1017 is the number. You know, Election Day is tomorrow, and we want to encourage every single person, that includes you, where you at, and you, to get out and vote. Polls open at 7 a.m., close at 8 p.m. tomorrow. Also, tune in to Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace tomorrow at 12 noon. He'll be joined by former U.S. Attorney General Eric Holder. They'll be discussing Wisconsin's history of disenfranchising black voters through gerrymandering election maps and why he is pushing to have fair legislative maps in Wisconsin and across the U.S. Again, that is former U.S. Attorney General Eric Holder on Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace. Eric Wallace, Kyle Wallace, one of them. Tomorrow at 12 noon on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. I find it interesting. Anyway, let me hush. That's political. I'm not going to talk about that. Let me take that and do that. Okay. So here's my issue. Democrats always talk about gerrymandering when the first thing they do when they get in office and get the majority is gerrymandering. Now, I don't have a problem with it. That's what people in the majority do. But don't be hypocritical about it. Don't complain that somebody else does something that you do and that you should not vote for them so that you can get in and do it. Like, that's a little disingenuous. That's a little, just say, hey, we want to make the district map so it's in our majority favor. Okay. Then if I want to vote for you, I vote for you. If I don't want to vote for you, I don't vote for you. But what you're not going to do is tell me a tale of vote this way because they're doing that. And then you get in and do the same thing. Kowtow to billionaires, yet you say they're kowtowing to billionaires. The fact that, it's just weird to me. Bernie Sanders goes to a place to complain about billionaires. This guy lives off a trust fund. How? Because he's a billionaire. Oh, right. And he's not even a Democrat. He's an independent. So, what we doing?
Number 5.
So, from WISN.com, a unanimous Wisconsin Supreme Court yesterday refused to hear a last-minute attempt by the state's Democratic Attorney General to stop billionaire Elon Musk from handing over $1 million checks to 2 voters, a ruling that just came out minutes before the planned start of the rally. The 2 lower courts had already rejected the legal challenge by Democrat Josh Kaul, who argues that Musk violated state law. Wisconsin's law prohibits offering anything of value to induce anyone to vote. And he argued in his filing, yet Elon Musk did just that. But the state Supreme Court, which is currently controlled by 4-3 liberal justices, declined to even hear the case as an original action. Musk's attorneys argued in filings with the court that Musk was exercising his free speech rights with the giveaway. Any attempt to restrict that would violate both the Wisconsin and U.S. constitutions. The payments are intended to generate a grassroots movement in opposition to activist judges, not to expressly advocate for or against any candidate, Musk's attorneys argued in the court filings. Wisconsin's, of course, tightly contested Supreme Court election. Ideological control of the court is at stake. Is tomorrow. Liberals currently hold a 4-3 majority. The court's 4 liberal justices have endorsed Dane County Judge Susan Crawford. Now, I don't understand why a court judge would be even doing that. If you're on the Supreme Court, it's my understanding, no, it's my belief that you shouldn't be doing that. Musk's attorneys, for about 4 hours before the rally was to begin, asked that 2 liberal justices who have campaigned for Crawford, Karofsky and Dallett, recused themselves from the case. His attorneys argued their work for Crawford creates a specter of inappropriate bias. If they did recuse, then that would leave the court with a 3-2 conservative majority. But we put them on the court to do what? We put them on the court to follow the rule of law. And they did, and they said no. Now, there's a reason why they did that, in my estimation. One of the reasons why they did that is because it's too close to the election. It would be like picking sides. And once you start doing that, you literally control the outcome of an election. And so rather than do that, they simply said, we're not touching it. Let nature take its course.
Number 4.
This also from WISN 12. What happened in Green Bay? Well, he gave away $2 million. 2 days before the election, after all the court battle you just heard about, he gave away 2 $1 million checks in Green Bay, despite the fight by Josh Kaul. Musk said, I should say the reason for the checks is to get attention. It's like we need to get attention. Musk and his groups roughly poured $20 million into the race, backing conservative candidate Brad Schimmel, who is running against liberal Susan Crawford. Musk handed out 2 $1 million checks to two people in the crowd, and he said he had signed a petition against activist judges. He originally said the payments would be made to two Wisconsin voters, which Democrats argued violated the state's bribery laws. Again, like I said, Call asked the court to end it. The court said, we're not even hearing it. We're not even bothering. We're not doing it. And I think the reason they're not doing it, I believe, is because it's too close to the race. Same thing with I think they were suing about Hillary Clinton, or Donald Trump came to town and wanted to sue. And Supreme Court said, no, it's too close to the election. We don't want to do something that's going to cause voters to shift. And so the easy way to do that is to literally stay out of the way of the political process.
Number 3.
This from Fox6Now.com. A 20-year-old Milwaukee man has been charged in relation to a February armed carjacking. Prosecutors recently charged 20-year-old Javon Smith. A Milwaukee locksmith now has a message of caution after he was robbed and held at gunpoint. Prosecutors recently charged 20-year-old Javon Smith one count of armed carjacking as a party to a crime. So investigators say in early February, Smith and another person requested help from a locksmith, only to aim a gun at the man and empty his pockets. Court records say that locksmith was speaking with someone on Facebook Marketplace about reprogramming car keys. They agreed to meet on West Eggert Place. Investigators say once the man got there, someone got out of a black Nissan with a silver pistol and said he knew what time it is. Or basically they said, you know what time it is. Either way, they took the man's 2 phones, $150 in cash, and his keys. But here's the kicker. Prosecutors say they took his vehicle full of thousands of dollars worth of equipment, including about 100 blank key fobs, and drove off. Court records show the next day Smith was identified in an armed robbery where he stole $800 from a victim using Cash App. Police arrested him days later, and officers found a phone with screenshots of messages with the unarmed locksmith and the photos of the stolen equipment. Who said cops were smart? Woo, it's always the criminal. Oh, I solved this crime. Well, they left a blood trail like a block and a half, and then they said, I'm going in here, and then you saw them on video, and then they used their phone, and then they, okay. So, yeah. But the locksmith wants people to be careful. He says, I've just felt like betrayed because I came to do a service. I work hard. I did, and someone did that. That's what the locksmith said. Each time someone calls me, I'm scrutinizing everything much, much more. They need to know there's people like that out there that will take your hard-earned money from you. Cash bond was set at $20,000. He's due back in court next week. So here's my question. You ready? If cash bond was set for $20,000, where did a 20-year-old get $20,000 to get out of? I'm just. Am I missing something? Like you just. Okay. If convicted, Smith is facing 60 years in prison. Oh, I guess if I was facing 60 years in prison, I might find $20. Hey, bro. Can I get 20? Can I get 20? Hey, man. Can I get 20? Look, dude, I promise I'm going to pay you back. Like, how you going to pay him back if you get convicted at 20? Like, what? How you going to pay him back? How are you going to how you going to pay somebody back and you sitting in prison doing 20?
Number 2.
This from blackenterprise.com. Did you watch the Minnesota-Detroit game?
Oh, of course I did.
They're calling it a skirmish took place yesterday, resulting in not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 NBA players, 2 coaches being ejected. Timberwolves and the Pistons. I guess the Pistons are back to being the bad boys of the NBA. This is before halftime at the Target Center. According to CNN Sports, with less than 10 minutes left to play in the first half of the Timberwolves-Pistons game, a fight occurred on the court. It started when Pistons forward Ron Holland fouled Timberwolves forward Naz Reid. The two started yelling at each other. Dante DiVincenzo stepped in between them, and then the scuffle started, and security and team personnel were able to end the fight. But in the end, Piston players Isaiah Stewart, Holland, and Marcus Sasser were thrown out along with their head coach. Timberwolves lost Reed, DiVincenzo, and assistant coach Pablo Porgiani. How you get into a fight in an NBA game? So here's my question with this, right? You ready? Should they get tickets for fighting? You cleared the bench. Should you get at a minimum, a municipal or county citation for fighting in the public? Battery, whatever. Yes or no?
I'm going to say no.
Why?
Is that not private property? They can
you can't fight on private
them
property.
As needed?
You can't fight on private property. You have a fight in your house, people call the police, you go to jail.
But the NBA is the governing body.
It doesn't. No, it's not. That's not how it works. Like, the NBA is not like their own country. They don't have sovereignty. If you fight on private property, the police can walk down there and arrest your butt for fighting if they wanted to.
So if Ron Holland wanted to pose charges,
he could. They just don't. Or there's some type of signature thing they signed where they said that you wouldn't because you're getting paid millions of dollars to play, so you can't. And if somebody does it, the NBA can do it. That's why I equate the NBA to really slavery. You've turned your life over to them where they can do anything they want with you, send you to any team they want to send you to, suspend you, do whatever, and you have zero recourse because the NBA Players Association basically signed everything away for the millions they get. So it's literally slavery. And I'm talking slavery from players. Black, white, Hispanic, Asian, don't matter. It's basic slavery. You sign your life away for $30 million. But that's it. Same thing with baseball. Same thing with football. We own you. And I don't know if I want to do that. To the point, somebody should get a ticket. If you're telling kids, don't fight, be good, and these are our quote-unquote people we look up to, they should have the same consequences that we do. I think it's only fair. Yeah, but they're special. Just like that fool golfer that should have went to jail for battering the police officer, but he didn't. To the point where I actually argued with some white folks here. What do you mean it should be in jail? I said, he's not special because he's a white guy and playing golf. You're not special. You should be in jail like everybody else. If a black guy did it, you would be standing there saying that black guy needs to go to jail. If a black guy hit the golfer, you'd be like, lock him up and send him to prison. What makes him special because he's a golfer? And then I realized it was a white guy. And you're actually okay letting people not be responsible because of what they do. But if they're not responsible, then we can't hold you responsible either. Oh, wait a minute. Then you won't be able to hold me responsible either. I guess I can get out and do what I want. Me personally, I'd probably be fired. You know why? All right, I'm going to take it.
Number 1.
Well, this from theroot.com. So I talked about this a little on Friday, and it kind of blew over, and I kind of wondered about it. And in his latest attempt to rid the country of diversity, equity, and inclusion, and as many Americans believe, strip away black history, President Donald Trump announced plans to target federal funding for the Smithsonian, forcing folks to question why he's taken an interest in the National Museum of African American History and Culture. Now, I didn't hear that he took interest in that. I just heard Smithsonians. It's not the only Smithsonian. He said, but not similar museums like U.S. Holocaust Memorial, Museum of American Indian, all of which receive federal funding. In executive order, Trump said the MAAHC, located in Washington, D.C., is under the influence of a divisive, race-centered ideology. Because of this, Trump wants to end funding to the African American Museum, as well as other Smithsonian museum honoring the expansive history of the nation. This means the fate of the black history and culture is up in the air. I would say no, because we're going to kick in and we're going to pay for it. That's what I say. Let's stop crying and moaning and living off the government, and let's just pay for it. Everybody in every family should figure out how much money they're going to need to spend. You're not going to be able to work for the federal government and get paid this exorbitant salary to be the director and all that. You're going to have to make a reasonable salary, and you're going to have to do that because you should have known this day was coming. Like, I don't know why you were shocked. I don't. Everybody in their family, every year, couple things. If you went to an HBCU, hustle up about $1,000 a year, or just pay $84, or what is it, $83, $84 a month, and over the course of a year, they'll have $1,000 to your alma mater. And that's it, $1,000. Think about how many people have graduated from HBCUs. Millions. And all the money you cry and moan, see, I'm about to say that word again, the P word, and moan about having, when all you have to do is what? Pay it yourself. Have a fundraiser. But we don't do that. We always want someone else's money, always want someone else to pay for it. You actually got a scholarship to go to college, and you won't give back. I got a scholarship to go to college. Part of it I paid out of my pocket, and part of it I got a scholarship. But in the end, guess where I'm at every single year? Back at Illinois State University, back at Marian University, back at Concordia University. Why? Because they gave me what I got. So you give it back. What if you don't have money? Then go volunteer. That's the same thing we're going to have to do with UNCF, Thurgood Marshall Fund. You just have to give. And now the museum. It's yours. Take care of it. People kept arguing, and I'm going to go out on a limb here before we go to break. Jewish is a race, right? Whoopi Goldberg got in trouble for saying it's a religion, not a race. It's also an ethnicity and all that, but I'm not going to get into that. Whoopi Goldberg got into trouble saying that it's not a race. Now they're protecting the Jewish faith, but nobody's saying it's a race anymore. But my thing is, if you're going to get rid of funding for anything minority in the Smithsonian, shut them all down. But now you're just being weird. Now you're just being weird. You shouldn't be against Jewish people, shouldn't be against black, white, Hispanic, Asian, Pacific Islander, Native American. You shouldn't. And if you want to have a museum, you should be able to have a museum. Now, this one sounds like we're going to have to take a trip to Washington, D.C. and do some complaining. No, we're not going to storm the Capitol. No, we're not going to storm the Capitol. Let me do this. I'll try not to storm the Capitol. I am not climbing over anybody's fence and getting shot. That is not going to happen. And I'm not going to let you do it either. In his order, Trump charged Vance to seek the appointment of citizen members of the Smithsonian Board of Regents committed to advancing the policy of this order. Without the Smithsonian, which provides nearly 24 museums free to the public, Americans and tourists won't have access to accurate accounts of history. But maybe that's the real plan for Trump's America. I think it is. I think we want to erase everything that reminds them of everything they did wrong. If you actually accepted what was wrong, you should actually be able to move on. But you won't. And so I guess it begs the question, can you call the president a knucklehead?
Don't touch that dial. More of Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Join your boy Tori Lowe and the Truth Team for our community cleanup on Saturday, April 12th. Go to truthcommunitycleanup.com to sign up to volunteer at one of our 3 cleanup locations. Everyone who joins gets a free lunch provided by Cousin Subs. Register today by visiting truthcommunitycleanup.com. Bring the whole family to help clean our city. The Tori Lowe Cleanup is presented by 1MKE and sponsored by Cousin Subs, Ray's Coca-Cola, Landmark Credit Union, U.S. Cellular, and Waste Management.
Ever had a question about local services, neighborhood events, civic engagement, or ways to get more involved in the community and just didn't know who to ask? That's where 1MKE comes in. 1MKE is a nonpartisan coalition helping Milwaukee residents to find trusted information and easy opportunities to get civically engaged. Want to plug into a neighborhood event, find community services, give back through volunteering? 1MKE is here to help. Learn more and get involved at 1mke.org. That is 1mke.org. We are 1MKE.
Ready to buy your first house, move into your forever home, or simply refinance? At Associated Bank, they've got you. With the right lending plan and guidance, you can achieve your dreams. Your financial goals are closer than you think, and Associated Bank is excited to help you reach them. Learn more at associatedbank.com/lending or ask a banker for details. Subject to credit approval, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Elon Musk and Donald Trump are out of control, slashing healthcare and food for hungry kids, eliminating the Department of Education. Now, Musk and Trump are trying to buy a seat on the Wisconsin Supreme Court, spending millions to elect extremist Brad Schimmel. And if elected, Schimmel wants to criminalize abortion, even in cases of rape and incest. Brad Schimmel, an extreme rubber stamp for Musk and Trump, and wrong for Wisconsin. We need justices who are fair, who know right from wrong. Judge Susan Crawford has spent her life standing up for Wisconsin and keeping us safe. She'll always protect our right to choose, and Crawford will be the check and balance we need against Elon Musk and Donald Trump. On April 1st, vote Susan Crawford for Supreme Court. Go to www.iwillvote.com to find out where and how to cast your vote by April 1st. Paid for by Power to the Polls Action Fund, not authorized by any candidate or candidate's agent or committee.
This is Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
It was love at first sight. I know from the way she looked at me.
You're looking at Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. I see you on the talk and text line. I see you on YouTube. But if you want to see it, you can stream and watch us on YouTube at 1017thetruth.com. Make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell, and then we will hear you. I want to say thank you to Lana Banana. She's the only one that loved me and called me today. So we're doing that. A great baseball game for the Kansas City Royals. So they gave they gave our good friends a shellacking. So they's packing for a shellacking. So that's what they got. Yeah. Somebody must have put a tag on their back that said "Punk Me," because they got punked. Woo! 4 straight. Lord have mercy. Speaking of Lord have mercy, I think it's important that you played that song. That's my cut. And the reason that's my cut is because, okay, is anybody listening? Let me see. Anybody listening? Gotta turn the radio down. I gotta talk about Halle Berry. I don't want to get y'all, because sometimes you mention Halle Berry, people get all, they like swoon because she's so fine. You know what I'm saying? So, Halle Berry questions the impact of being the first and only black woman to win Oscar for Best Actress. Does it matter? So another award season winding down. Halle Berry, who famously became the first black woman to win the Academy Award for Best Actress in 2002. So we spent an inordinate amount of time being the first black. Does that take away the fact that she is in rarefied air of having won an Academy Award? And the fact that she happens to be a black woman, I don't know. Do you diminish her beating everybody by saying she's the first black woman to do it? Now, here's my take on it. I love the fact that Halle Berry won it. I love the fact that she won an Oscar. It was well deserved. But didn't Denzel win an Oscar for this thing called where he played the crooked cop? So how do you win an Academy Award for being a crooked cop or playing Halle Berry's part where she's like got a husband in prison and sleeping with the prison guard and all kind of craziness and all that? Like, why is it when we play these, like if she played a billionaire woman, right? Like she wouldn't have won an Academy Award. But if she plays some trash black woman sleeping with a white guy who's a prison guard, crap like that, then all of a sudden, oh, it's so great. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. That bothers me. I don't think so. I don't think so. 833-212-1017 is the number. Let me check the talking text line so I don't get mad. Training day. Thank you. It was training day. You could play a crooked, wife-beating, cheating, trashy cop and win an Academy Award. Or you can play a tramp. Do they even call people tramps anymore? Skeezers, skanks. Okay. And win an Academy Award. But if you actually play somebody that's believable and in a corporate environment, or well, that's not real because of your point of view of black people. And y'all was the ones saying you got to play real. You complain about taking advantage of little people. So in Snow White, you took out little people and you morphed them in, right? You use CG for, like, what? So because of political correctness, you put little people out of business and they can't earn money because of how you feel. That's weird. That's weird. It's just weird. But that's what we go by. And it makes absolutely no sense. No sense whatsoever. Now, before I take a break, I got a complaint. And then after we take a break, I'll be talking about Donald Trump because he did some other stuff that don't make no sense. And I need your input. Or better yet, I think I'm going to go to break. Because when we come back, I got a problem. And I want to talk to Sandra. I got a problem. The problem is something that you would never, ever believe or think you would ever, ever have a problem with, to the point where growing up, I only mentioned it maybe once on this show, growing up, never in my wildest dream would I have thought I would have this problem. It is a problem only a homeowner has. Well, I grew up, I didn't think I could own a home. You know, when I grew up, we were poor to the point where I'll always rent an apartment, I'll always have a car note, all that. And it's not the case. The issue I have, I'll tell you when we come back. And now with traffic on 101.7 The Truth, here's Debbie Lazaga.
I-94 is a long commute this afternoon. Eastbound traffic sees some delays getting into the Stadium interchange. Westbound, it's a lot of cars from 16th all the way to almost 124th Street. I-43 still heavy backups in both directions between Canal and Locust. And on 894 West, traffic starts at the Mitchell interchange and clears up once you get past 60th Street. Tonight, mostly clear skies, a low of 29 lakeside, 25 inland. On Tuesday, the clouds roll back in. We have a chance for mixed precipitation towards the evening, a high of 41. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Jessica Gatso on 101.7 The Truth.
Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris returns after this on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Great impressions will exceed your expectations. Great Impressions Graphics and Printing. They've been proudly serving the community for over 26 years. From their location at the corner of 54th and Burleigh in Milwaukee, their dedication to quality and customer satisfaction has made them a trusted name in printing and design. Great Impressions offer a wide range of services, including banners, posters, yard signs, business cards, programs, and postcards. Plus, they specialize in custom apparel printing, perfect for family reunions, sports outings, business promotions, and more. For your next project, visit greatimpress.com. That's greatimpress.com. Great Impressions. They're here when you need them.
Great Impressions, perceptions, everything.
Escape the city and relax at Lake Lawn Resort in beautiful Delavan, Wisconsin. Enjoy outdoor activities on Delavan Lake. Tee off at the lakeside Majestic Oaks Golf Course or unwind at the award-winning Calidora Spa. With both indoor and outdoor pools, there's fun for the whole family. Take a cruise on the Lake Lawn Queen. Explore stunning shores and historic landmarks. And enjoy delicious food and drinks on board. Book your stay today at lakelawnresort.com, where everything is better at the lake.
Finding stable housing shouldn't be a struggle. The Milwaukee Rental Housing Resource Center connects renters, property owners, and partners to the resources they need, whether it's rental assistance, legal aid, mediation, or tenant education. No matter what your situation is, you do not have to go at it alone. Get assistance today by visiting renthelpmke.org. That is renthelpmke.org, or stop by their office at 728 North James Level Street in Milwaukee. At the Milwaukee Rental Housing Resource Center, they are here for all your housing needs.
On April 1st, we have a choice to make. Donald Trump wants us to elect Brad Schimmel to the Supreme Court. Elon Musk's even spending millions to elect him because they know Schimmel will do whatever they want, even if that means letting them cut health care and food for hungry kids or eliminate the Department of Education. That's why we need to vote for Judge Susan Crawford.
I'm Judge Susan Crawford. As a former prosecutor and now as the judge, I've made sure rapists, murderers, and child predators were behind bars where they belong. And I trust women to make their own healthcare decisions. Brad Schimmel doesn't, but I always will. And that's why I'm asking for your vote.
That's Judge Susan Crawford, protecting our rights, our families, and our community. So on April 1st, help keep Trump and Musk in check. Go to the polls and vote for Judge Susan Crawford for Supreme Court. Make the right choice. Vote Susan Crawford on April 1st. Paid for by Susan Crawford for Wisconsin.
This Associated Bank Sports Update on the award-winning 1017 The Truth is powered by ESPN Milwaukee. I'm Kyle Wallace. Baseball in Milwaukee was officially back today as the Milwaukee Brewers hosted their home opener. Despite the cold weather, fans showed up in full effect to support the crew. Unfortunately, the Brewers were unable to get the victory in front of the home crowd, falling to the Kansas City Royals. The Brewers will hit the diamond again tomorrow against the Royals with first pitch set for 6:40 p.m., and it can be heard on our sister station, 620 WTMJ. The Milwaukee Bucks were back in action yesterday as they took on the Atlanta Hawks at Fiserv Forum. Giannis had an impressive 31 points, but that was not enough as the Bucks fell to the Hawks 145-124. The Bucks look to end their three-game losing streak tomorrow night as they host the Phoenix Suns in Milwaukee. Tip-off is set for 6:30 p.m. and can be heard on our sister station, 620 WTMJ. This True Sports Update was brought to you by Associated Bank, proudly supporting your hometown teams. Member FDIC.
More of Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. Hey, Truth Nation. Our fourth annual Tory Lowe Community Cleanup is on Saturday, April 12th, 8 a.m. till 12 noon, and we want you to be there, so go to truthcommunitycleanup.com, sign up, to volunteer to help make Milwaukee clean. Everyone who registers for the last cleanup site will get a free lunch provided by Cousin Subs, which means everybody's going to sign up for the last cleanup site. You can register today. You'll get it. You can register today at truthcommunitycleanup.com and beautify our city. Come on. Just come out. Help clean up. We can make it look all pretty together. Tory Lowe Community Cleanup is on Saturday, April 12th from 8 a.m. till 12 noon. Presented by 1MKE. We are 1MKE and sponsored by Cousin Subs, Reyes, Coca-Cola, Landmark Credit Union, and Waste Management. 833-212-1017 is the number. All right. So I know I got to get to Sandra, but I got to tell the story. So I got this bird. I need to figure out how to get rid of a bird that's in my neighborhood. That's on a tree 2 doors from my house. 2 doors. You ready? It's a woodpecker. I'm like, what is that? It's a woodpecker. A what? Like, what the? Huh? Is it like Woody Woodpecker? But like, no, like it's a real. And I'm listening, I'm like, what is that? So I'm sitting in my backyard chilling, got the fire pit going, sitting there reading a book. It's the evening. Everything is great. It's about 70 degrees outside, and I hear this. I'm like, what is that? Like, what is a woodpecker? So 2 yards away from me, up high in the tree, there's a woodpecker who decides at like, I don't know, 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening, I think I'm going to knock on this tree. So by 9 o'clock that night, I'm like, okay, dude, like, can I borrow your air rifle? Got to take care of this wood. It was driving me up a wall. How do you get rid of a woodpecker? Anybody? 833-212-1017. No, I'm not going to shoot it. No, I'm not going to throw anything at it so I can go to jail because, you know, the DNR will come out and be ready to lock me up. But all kidding aside, just kidding, what do you do about a woodpecker? Like, how do you set your tree to be anti-woodpecker? I don't know. Hit me on the talking text line. Hit me on the YouTube chat, something, because I need to know. I need to know. Sandra, you're on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. How are you?
I'm okay. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. It's been a great weekend.
Yeah, mine was too.
Good. You had
my company,
family, right? Yeah.
Yeah. We went out to eat and we went to see my daughter and then
how's she doing?
Well, they didn't stay long. She's getting better. Yeah. She had a real bout this time. Mm-hmm. Okay. I think they didn't know how sick she was, so it was a matter of getting her, you know, the medical attention she really needed.
Right.
Instead of back and forth, because I've been playing back and forth with her. Mm-hmm. In the hospital to the nursing home. In the hospital to the That's why I say when back and forth. But she's better, and she's looking better. And
so is she back at the nursing home?
Yeah,
she's back at the nursing home?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she's got to be rehabbed. That's what she's trying to get. As soon as she gets there, she has to go back to the hospital because she gets sick again. So it's back and forth. So now they really found out what was wrong with her, Steve. So now they can work with that. And so, it takes a little bit. You can't figure out everything at once.
That's why they're called practicing physicians.
Yeah, but she had a good one this time.
Good.
Because she had to have surgery. Mm-hmm.
Good. That's good.
And he's the one that did mine. So I was so happy she got him.
Right.
And his staff. Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's an excellent doctor. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And so, okay, Dr. Ken, time to get into the talk show.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now, you were saying how come people hate rich people. Yes, sir, we hate rich people.
Because a lot of people
I know. Something like that?
Well, what is it? Envy?
No.
Well, what is it?
I think what it is that, so much money is spent into all of this stuff. Like, fashions and purses, and I don't buy them. I figure we have a choice. Don't buy it. I can't see myself spending $600,000, $700,000 for a purse, shoes, coats, and all of that. I can't see it. But I'm not, rich, so their thinking is different from mine.
But what makes it different?
All I want to say is because number one, I don't have that kind of money to spend for that kind of stuff, and number two,
there you go.
I've taken sewing before.
You've taken what?
So I know, what sewing when you make garments and stuff.
So what about quality?
Well, you learn all of that in home economics.
So if you can afford the quality, can you buy it?
Well, I don't think it should cost that much. Why does it cost that much?
Because that's what people are willing to spend.
Well, then they got duped.
That's your opinion.
Some of that stuff you can make yourself. You can make it yourself. You can put a few frazzles on a dress.
Can you make
diamonds on a dress?
What about a yacht?
Well, that's different. I mean, unless you know how to do the wood shop part, you probably could.
What about an airplane?
Well, that's another different one. You have to get into. I had my brother-in-law was working for Boeing.
So what about a fur coat?
You have to get into more. Well, I wouldn't even take no fur coat. I wouldn't take nothing off the animal skin to make a fur coat. Don't need it.
Do you eat chicken?
Every now and then.
So then you should stop with the whole animal thing.
No, I don't have to.
So let me get this right. I don't want to wear it, but I'll eat it. That sounds a little.
No.
That's a little.
I might eat it, but I might eat some beans. I like coleslaw, stuff like that. I like that better than meat because I've gotten away from meat, really, especially red meat and all of that.
So you ate meat your whole life, and then you've like in the last maybe 10 years stopped eating meat. So that makes you
probably last 30.
So that makes you better than everybody because you don't eat.
No,
meat.
I don't think I'm better than nobody.
Well, then why are you talking all this? I don't eat meat stuff. You could wear it too. Your clothes are made of.
You asked about the fur. You said the fur. That's when it got to the meat.
There's little you're wearing that somebody didn't die for it. The wool in your hat is from some poor, I mean, sheep that.
I don't even wear a hat.
Oh, they got. Come on.
I wear a scarf.
Stop it.
I wear a scarf around my ears. I really do.
Scarves made of wool? Come on now.
No, it's made of silk, whatever that silk is. I guess it's been from the caterpillar.
Come on. Something died for you to get it. That's all I'm saying. Something died. Yes, I know so.
I don't think so. No.
Okay.
Not if I wear this scarf.
Yes,
it's a silk scarf.
Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm. With the cotton that you make the scarves out of, clothing out of the
Somebody went through some trauma to get that silk. Somebody went through some trauma to get that cotton, even if it was slaves.
Well, yeah, my people did. I know that much. So, hey, just something that happened, and they want to erase it. So,
picking cotton.
What can we do?
And wool comes from sheep.
Anyway.
So I don't know what we're gonna do with that. That poor sheep they got. And then while we at it, we may as well cut it up and make some pork chops. Does sheep make pork chops?
I don't have no wool.
Goats or what? Anyway, I don't know.
I got cotton.
Pigs make pork chops. My producer's laughing at me.
I got cotton. I don't have any wool.
Okay.
I got denim. Yeah, but I was just seeing it, and that's all this money.
This cloth didn't come from nowhere. It didn't just roll. Hey, I think I'm going to be denim today. Like, okay. All right.
It was planted. It's planted in the ground.
Yes, ma'am.
And the rabbits didn't eat it. So,
yes, ma'am.
Now, one more thing I just want to say real quick. I think the money being spent for these political races, they can take all these millions and billions and fix up the city. That's what I think is a good thing.
First of all, ain't nothing we can do about that because that's legal.
I'm going to say it. I can say it.
Absolutely, you can. Absolutely, you can.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But it just don't make no sense. You got all these billions and millions, and then all of a sudden the poor people.
Just because you disagree.
Poor people are the problem. Poor people are the problem.
Why is that?
They're the ones collect welfare. That's all they talk about. So, okay, I'm going to let you go, and maybe somebody else want to talk.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then.
All right.
Talk to you tomorrow, or what's that?
I'll be here tomorrow.
Pop-off.
I'll be here. No, tomorrow's Tuesday.
Oh, okay. Depends on what you're going to be talking about.
All right.
I have to wait and see. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Bye.
Bye. 833-212-1017 is the number. So Trump is talking about, I got about a minute and a half or so. Trump is talking about having a third term. Here's some things I need you to know that people don't understand. There can be a movement to repeal the 22nd Amendment, and then he can run for a third time. Odds of that happening, somewhere between 0 and 0.0000001 in infinity. 2, he could exploit a little notice loophole in the amendment that might allow him to run for what? When J.D. Vance runs for president, he can run for vice president and then immediately ascend back into the presidency by Vance vacating the office. He could run for president again on a bet that an appellate Supreme Court that he can run and the Supreme Court just won't stop him. That's not going to happen. Or he could simply refuse to leave. That's definitely not going to happen because that would put an end to America's democratic experiment. Hey, y'all, America is not a democratic experiment. We're here to stay. So y'all need to stop talking in these things that everything's so flexible and it's easy to change and we can move it, because it's not. The Constitution is pretty sturdy. I think it'll stand up. And I think Donald Trump should not run for a third term. And if he does, I hope somebody runs, because I'll be definitely voting against him.
Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris returns after this on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Truth Nation, it's your boy Tory Lowe, and I need to let you know the award-winning Tory Lowe Show can now be streamed live on YouTube every day from 1 to 4. I am now bringing all the smoke on YouTube every single weekday. I need you to go to YouTube right now and subscribe to 1017 The Truth and check out the award-winning Tory Lowe Show live every afternoon. Milwaukee Black Talk is now streaming live on YouTube. Now that's powerful.
This is Dr. Howard Fuller. I'm here because I support Brittany Kenzer to be the state superintendent of Wisconsin. I believe that Brittany will restore high academic standards. I believe that she will truly work to make parents a partner in the education of their children. I believe that she will be very transparent with the citizens of this state about what it is that's happening to our children. But the reason why I'm supporting Brittany beyond those important things is because I know that she cares deeply about children. I know that when she makes a decision as to what DPI should do, that decision will be based on her belief of what is best for children. We need a state superintendent who supports high standards. We need a state superintendent who supports transparency. We need Brittany Kenzer to be the state superintendent.
Vote Brittany Kenzer for DPI on or before April 1st. Paid for by Kenzer for Our Wisconsin Kids.
Ready to buy your first house, move into your forever home, or simply refinance? At Associated Bank, they've got you. With the right lending plan and guidance, you can achieve your dreams. Your financial goals are closer than you think, and Associated Bank is excited to help you reach them. Learn more at associatedbank.com/lending or ask a banker for details. Subject to credit approval, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Hi, I'm Dr. Cass Bowers, Executive Director of All in Wisconsin. Did you know that there's an election coming up on April 1st? I encourage you to get out and vote. For democracy to work for all of us, it must include all of us. Vote to protect our rights and freedoms. I also urge you to vote no on the voter ID amendment on the ballot. Safe elections mean that no one is left out of the process, and we don't need more barriers to voting. Make your voices heard. Visit allinwi.org for more information.
Gear up for a great time as Sports Milwaukee hosts Milwaukee Tailgate Week, presented by Potawatomi Sportsbook. Set for April 24th to the 26th, Milwaukee Tailgate Week features a variety of gridiron activations for all ages, steeped in Milwaukee's iconic sports history, brews, restaurants, and venues. As the 2025 draft takes center stage in Green Bay, Sports Milwaukee and the Cream City are excited to welcome the football world to Wisconsin. For tickets, go to visitmilwaukee.org/tailgate. Brought to you by Visit Milwaukee. Handcrafted, homegrown, world class.
Use promo code VISIT for 50% off.
You are listening to Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Woo. That was a short one. Got the Brewers playing this afternoon. They lost to the Kansas City Royals. And now, I'm out. And then just walk away. Hey, I want to thank you for being here. It's been a great afternoon. It's been a short afternoon, but I'll be back in about 22 hours to harass you, to cajole you, to shock you, to amaze you. Because I got a whole bunch of stuff I caught up on the weekend, and I can't wait for the rest of the week. You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. Truth Unfiltered's coming up, so I'll be hanging around still with my partner in crime, Denise D.T. Thomas, and we'll talk about some things that truly need to be talked about unfiltered. Hey, God bless. Take care. Thank you, Glenn. Appreciate you, brother. Hey, have a good evening. Stay out. It actually snowed this morning. I'm like, I don't really. 70 degrees snow. Okay. Oh, well, I'm confused. I'm out of here. I'm out.